I'm Elex Michaelson. This week on The Issue Is, we're talking with former Vice President Kamala Harris. Her first comments on camera since President Trump's inauguration day. Plus, one-on-one with Rick Caruso discussing his new nonprofit and his political future. Then, Billy Bush in studio, talk about his new show, Hot Mics.
Broadcasting across California, you're watching The Issue Is.
Welcome to The Issue Is. I'm Elex Michaelson. It is very possible that the next race for governor in California will feature Kamala Harris versus Rick Caruso. We spoke with both of them this week, both of them in town to talk about fire relief. Let's start with Harris.
During the height of fear, you are fearless.
Former Vice President Kamala Harris thanks first responders and surveys fire damage in Pacific Palisades for the first time. What goes through your mind when you see this? You're here, you're now seeing it up close.
It's not only seeing it, Alex, you can smell it. You can feel it, right? So it's seeing it with our eyes, and many people have seen it. You all are covering it. But to literally be on the ground here, you can smell the smoke that was here. You can feel the toxicity, frankly, of the environment. You can feel the energy of all of the folks who are still here on the ground.
Resident Jamie Longo in tears seeing Harris in her community.
The fact that she would come down to our community and see the devastation, it means everything.
LA County Supervisor Lindsay Horvath giving the tour and expressing gratitude for the Biden-Harris administration immediately approving federal disaster aid without conditions.
You've been personally attentive to what's happening on the ground from the moment this started.
One of the things they wanted the former vice president to see is this burnt-out mobile home, evidence that there's a lot of different kinds of properties that burned.
We must, as a society, as a country, invest in adaptation and resilience.
Harris also visiting the Westwood Recreation Center.
Come here.
A temporary home for fire evacuees. There, she's asked directly, are you running for California governor?
I have been home for 2 weeks and 3 days. My plans are to be in touch with my community, to be in touch with the leaders and figure out what I can do to support them.
Does seeing this change the way you think about the question of whether to run for governor?
I am here and would be here regardless of the office I hold, because it is the right thing to do, which is to show up in your community and thank the folks who are on the ground.
So that was the first time we've heard from Harris in several weeks. We've been hearing from Rick Caruso a lot lately, including on one of the top podcasts in the country, The Joe Rogan Experience.
What should have been done, and who's responsible?
Well, I think the leadership is responsible at every level.
Caruso also talking with Rogan about watching our coverage when his daughter's home in Pacific Palisades burned down.
The hoses ran dry, and the whole neighborhood went up. And I was so angry that Fox 11, the local Fox station, was on with Elex Michaelson, and I texted him because they were reporting live. This is about 10:30 at night. I said, are you getting reports that they've run out of water? He said, not at all. And I said, you need to report this. He said, do you want to come on live? I said, yeah, hook me up. And I went on. He couldn't believe it. And some of the media was trying to spin it.
I saw that.
Like it's not true.
Our interview that first night with Caruso was seen by millions, shared out on X by Elon Musk himself. The issues raised by Caruso were then addressed by Presidents Biden and Trump in the days ahead. This week, we caught up once again with Caruso as he launched a nonprofit with some of his closest friends in business.
You have to have private enterprise involved in this because government alone can't do it. It's too big.
Businessman Rick Caruso is funding his own nonprofit to help SoCal rebuild from wildfires. It's called Steadfast LA, uniting various business leaders, including mapping company Esri, design company Gensler, and banking from JP Morgan Chase, solving issues like moving power lines underground.
We can help solve that problem, work alongside the city and the county, give them the best thinking and the best ideas, and then hold them accountable to implement it.
Amazon is also part of the group.
Let's take all the building codes in LA City, dump it in an AI model, which we've talked to Amazon about, submit the plans through that AI model, have plan check and corrections done within hours versus within weeks or months.
Caruso says he's working with California Governor Gavin Newsom on the nonprofit. Caruso also says he called L.A. Mayor Karen Bass. How's your relationship with Mayor Bass?
You know, I think it's fine. I'm obviously, I speak my truth. I say what I feel. I think that's important to do. But I want to make her very efficient and productive in this.
Caruso lost the mayor's race to Bass by about 10 points back in 2022. You know, some of her supporters have accused you of politicizing this tragedy.
Yeah.
What do you say to them?
There's nothing about politics in this. This is so much bigger than politics, and that's an insulting comment.
A recent Decipher AI poll shows Caruso leading Bass in a potential rematch in 2026. There's some people that say you should run for governor, other people that say you should run for mayor.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
On January 7th, time stopped. Literally, time stopped. And I'm not thinking about any of that right now. I was.
Really?
I'm not now. I'm not. It's just, this is all consuming.
You're not thinking about either one?
Nope.
Okay.
I am not.
Yeah.
I don't have the time.
Caruso says his main focus is speeding up the pace of the rebuild. What's a realistic timetable for people in terms of getting back into these communities?
I think it should be no longer than a year.
No longer than a year?
People should be able to start building their homes. Absolutely.
You can find out more at steadfastla.com. By the way, we've reached out to L.A. Mayor Karen Bass's office for months, hoping to have her back on this show. We hope she'll join us again soon. Up next, Billy Bush. But first, a great moment from this week's Grammys when L.A. County firefighters got a standing ovation from some of the biggest names in music.
It silenced me, the hot mic. And now, 8 years later, I really believe it's the delivery method for my true, authentic voice.
That is Billy Bush on the first episode of his new show called Hot Mics. It's a twice-weekly multi-platform show from the host of Extra. Billy Bush, great to have you on.
I'm
the
breaking
Issue Is
free,
for the first
Alex.
time.
I'm free. I'm free.
You are free. So you're still doing Extra. This is in addition to Extra is Hot Mics. And what's the basic
Unless the mics
concept?
get too hot, then I get fired by Extra, and then I'm on the hot mics only. So
yeah,
see what happens.
What's the basic concept here?
The basic concept is just to be able to freewheel and say what's on my mind, give real opinion. I've always been a zeitgeist kind of guy, sports, politics, entertainment, but I never get to talk about politics, on Extra and things. And I love what we do at Extra. It's a great show. But this is a chance to get deeper, get interesting guests, and also just say what I really believe.
Now you are weighing in on politics, and you're weighing in on Trump. What do you think? Because you have spent more time with him on camera than probably just about anybody over the years.
Yeah, from 2005 to when he ran, I would say I was, or 2002 or 3, I was with him for all the time, more than anyone else.
What do you think of how he's doing?
Well, I constantly ask myself on Hot Mics, does the good outweigh the bad? And it changes so quickly that I literally ask it on every episode. Right now, I think, I do. I think the good is outweighing the bad now, because the biggest thing he did was take a billy club to this insane, cancellation ideology. The woke left ran rampant and were setting a tone for our lives. This escalating war on human flaws, from that to, this ideologies that nobody prescribed to. And only Donald Trump stood up to it. A couple of podcasters, will do their thing, but it took him to squash it.
Where do you think the Democrats go from here?
They got to go somewhere. I thought it would take, look, the first Trump administration was the resistance, right? Everything he did. But with Trump, his strategy, he's not opposed to the Democrats. He's not competing with the Democrats. He's competing with the media. That's his opposition. And his opposition is he just overwhelms them.
Right.
With things to do. So where the media went wrong the first time is they're chasing down everything. If he does something and it's a 2, they scream 11.
Right.
And if it's a 11, they scream 11. But if you're always screaming 11, he's got you confused. And that's what these executive orders went right out of the, day one, just overwhelming.
Is there anything he's done you think so far that is an 11?
Well, he knows he's not gonna get away with it. Pardoning the January 6th.
Well, he did get away with that.
Violent protesters.
He got away with that.
Got away with it, but he got away with it. But it's to me that's an 11.
Yeah.
I think that was an outrage, and people should be outraged by it, and they are. But then he just keeps moving.
Yeah.
Before you have a chance to pin him on it, he's already gone.
Right. The idea of attacking cops, maybe
Yeah,
not a great
birthright
thing.
citizenship, he got that, or that was overturned. That was, you
Right.
can't do that. You can't break, you can't, manipulate the Constitution for yourself.
You launched your show right when the fires were starting here in Southern California. I know you've got strong takes on that. What do you think of the leadership right now of the LA mayor, Karen Bass?
She's got to go. I mean, she's got to go. There's no question about it.
You mean resign, or do you mean lose in 2026 when she's up for re-election?
I don't know where the
recall.
I don't know where the recall is now, but I think she should be recalled. If it happens, I think she's extremely vulnerable. If it doesn't, I have seen the signatures kind of stall out. Maybe she does make it to 26.
It's tough to do that.
But there's no way that people forget this. You can't forget this. And you've heard, she was in Ghana at the time. Yeah, she was on a Biden delegation for that, and it was a bad move. She shouldn't have gone. She had plenty of warning that things were not good, were developing, and she went anyway. But the worst is, you look at crazy Rudy Giuliani, who is not now, but boy, 9/11, he ran every single press conference. This is when Rudy was great. And you can, if you think he's nuts now, fine. But remember how great he was in that moment.
America's mayor.
Karen Bass is behind the scenes at every press conference. She's not taking the bull by the horn. She's telling us to go to shelters at URL, whatever that is. I mean, she's just not in command.
Up next, more with Billy Bush. He weighs in on sports and why so many people are so sick of the Kansas City Chiefs. That's Emilia Perez, which has 13 Oscar nominations. We're talking with Billy Bush, the host of Extra and Hot Mics. And Billy, it seems like if Fox News Primetime had to come up with a storyline that was designed to irritate certain people in the middle of the country, you've got a musical with Mexican drug lords talking about trans rights. That's Emilia Perez.
That's Hollywood, baby.
Is there a bit of a disconnect maybe between Hollywood and the rest of the country?
A massive disconnect between Hollywood and the rest of the country, and they're not going to change. The Oscars itself, out of all the major award shows, is the worst. It goes on way too long, as we know, and they always put these movies in there. Nothing, even with all the 13 nominations and the headlines that come with that, it hasn't increased the streaming of Emilia Perez. No one has seen it. No one's going to.
Did you see it?
No.
Really?
No. And I'm not. By the way, I hate to reveal. I'm handing off the baton for the red carpet at the Oscars because no one really stops and talks at the Oscars. They should do a better job of that. You should ask these nominees to stop and talk, but they're not campaigning anymore.
Yeah, the campaigning.
And they stick you behind a hedge, and it's unbelievable. But the biggest thing is that no one sees the movies. This film does not appeal to the masses, and they've got their star, the actual Emilia Perez, right? Carla Sofia Gascon, who is transgender, their first nominee. Hollywood loves to have Oscars love to say the first this or the first that, and they have it, and she's been canceled for old tweets. So she is nominated. And whether she attends or not, but the whole cast and the director and Zoe, they're all speaking out against her. She's been banned.
So we do have some video of you on past red carpets. Obviously, you've been talking to stars for decades.
Yeah,
you look great.
Nick.
You look great in a tux.
I'm singing to him, I guess.
Talk to us about sort of the state of where you think Hollywood is and how much that job has changed so dramatically as the media landscape has changed so dramatically.
Well, I think what I do on Extra is commentary. I like to wink at the audience. I give a little, I know you know, and I know that I know, and none of this is, brain surgery here. We have a good time. But, for me, it's about fun. I like to have fun with who doesn't like to have fun with a celebrity? I mean, you have a good time with them. But, to really get great access, there's so many rules now. Everyone's coming after them. A lot of them just post a story on Instagram if they want to say something, because Billy Bush can't follow up. You know what I mean? So everything's so tightly controlled, and it's the fault of the internet, because there's always someone trying to weaponize something that they've said. So they're terrified people.
Same thing with covering politics.
Same thing
It's
with
become-
politics,
it's
but
become so
those
much
are
harder.
elected officials, and you can
Yeah.
plow right through it with them.
Yeah. One of the cool things you talk about on Hot Mics is sports, which I know is a passion of yours, passion of mine.
Yeah.
Really what I would like to talk about most. So
Same.
we've got Super Bowl week, so let's get some of your hot takes, Hot Mics on sports. Chiefs fatigue. This is something you talked about with Nate Burleson on your show.
Yep.
Are you feeling Chiefs fatigue? Are you bored with seeing the Kansas City Chiefs win?
Yeah, I am. I want to see the listen, I'm a Giants fan. So
Yeah.
born and raised. Like, we hate the Eagles. That's one thing you learn. But Saquon Barkley was done wrong by our Giants. And Saquon Barkley, we let him go because he was apparently too old and he cost too much money. So we got a guy 2 years younger. I want Saquon to win so he can finish the ultimate lesson to the New York Giants.
So you relate to somebody who's done wrong, who's going back with a new team.
I was what? Yes, I do. That's exactly. God, well, you were listening and connecting dots here.
Yeah.
But the Chiefs fatigue is we get fatigued with anyone who's won too much.
I know.
If your life is going too well, we like to build you up, but then we like to take you down. That's just the way our culture is. Billy Bush knows that. He's been up and he's been down. And now he's.
The Bushman's been everywhere, and now he's on The Issue Is. Another big headline this week, huge in Southern California, Luka Doncic is now a Laker. Your thoughts? Are you excited? You think they can win it all?
I think the Mavericks can win it all. I
Yeah.
think they got Anthony Davis, and he fits into their lineup perfectly. Luka's been injured since December, but he's out there. Look at him. There he is working the guys. I think he's a great play. I don't know about this year. I like it's a bigger play for the Mavs this year, but it's short-sighted on their part because this guy will he'll reign forever, and LeBron is, of course, an older man.
But the greatest
But he's
older
looked like
man
an older
ever.
man. But he's looked like an older man for 10 years.
Yeah,
I think,
but
at least.
most older men would love that body.
It's a beautiful body.
It's the greatest looking older man.
By the way, you
ever
can play with
seen.
it. Do you know that he is 6'5"? This is unbelievable. And
Yeah.
you lowered your
I
chair
do
for me.
like- well,
What a
it's
gracious
okay.
host.
That's
You know
all
who did
it's
not
all
do that?
about.
Bill Maher.
Bill-
He raises his thing up very high, and Larry King.
We're different heights, so it's okay. Up next, Billy Bush on the biggest lessons from his famous family. Extra with Billy Bush airs weeknights. Head to extratv.com for airtimes near you. And Hot Mics with Billy Bush is available Mondays and Wednesdays via the TuneIn app or on YouTube. We are talking with Billy Bush, and we want to take a moment to talk about your family and some of the lessons you've learned from your family. So, a lot of people know that your uncle was George H.W. Bush, what was the most important thing he taught you?
Oh, look at that picture right there. That's when I took my lacrosse team to the Oval Office. He was just the most decent man I have ever known, along with my father. They were raised that way. He's the most thoughtful person. Integrity mattered to him. He took a big fall. He didn't get reelected because he knew he had to raise taxes, and he did what was right for people. So I learned a lot about character, integrity, and getting yourself up, because that loss really hurt him. And not only did he get up, he became friends with Bill Clinton and supportive of Bill Clinton. And that's just called character.
Great man. George W. Bush, your first cousin.
He's a barrel of laughs, man. Everybody loves W. He's the most memed guy at whatever event today. He is such a fun and funny guy. I texted him right after the Jimmy Carter funeral, and I said, "Oh my God, when you slapped Obama, and that when remember he was walking into the pew and he gives Obama a little whack in the stomach. Hey, buddy." Such a frat move.
Right.
And he said, "Yeah, I was looking to get to Donald, but I couldn't reach him." He's just so loose and easy, and he's just, I don't know, people are really having fun with him these days, I think.
Yeah, it seems like he's having fun these days, too. And finally, most important lesson from your father.
Oh, man. My father, really a man of character. I would say the most important thing was lift up the little guy. And Dad was always someone reaching out and helping someone who was in a tough place or down. And I've been down, and I'm sure you've been down. And folks, if you haven't been yet, you will. No one goes unscathed. To reach out to that person. Like if someone is sick or something, has got cancer or something, you're like, oh, do I say something? They're probably busy. There's probably family. I don't know. Always reach out. Always to someone who's down. Just do it.
Yeah. We end with something called personal issues on this show.
Oh, wow. How much time do we have?
Open to that. Yeah, I'm not doing your therapy. We're just going to do some of your cultural favorites. And obviously, you know so much about pop culture. So this is the first thing that pops into your mind. Quick answers. Here we go. You ready? We're going to put 30 seconds up on the clock. Billy Bush, what is your favorite TV show right now?
Watching The Night Agent right now. Loving it. Yeah.
What is your favorite movie?
Rudy. I like a good cry. Let's go to a sports movie.
Okay. Who is your all-time favorite athlete?
I'm going to say all-time favorite, Wayne Gretzky.
What is your favorite vacation spot?
Favorite vacation? Maine. I spend a lot of time in Maine in the summer, out in coastal Maine in the Penobscot Bay.
And who is your role model?
My role model, he professionally was Regis Philbin back in the day, and in life, my dad.
I have said this, I think, to you before, but I think you are the closest thing to Regis Philbin on TV, and I mean that as a compliment. I think he was the greatest, and you are like the successor to Regis. You are so talented, and
thanks.
I think that this show, Hot Mics, is such a great vehicle to showcase your personality, which is as good a personality as anybody on TV.
You're so kind. Regis used to say to me all the time when he came in, he goes, "This guy, he wants my job. He's trying to move in and take my things. Billy Bush, get out of here. This is my job." He would go nuts on me, and he was everything you saw about him. That was him.
Yeah.
Right? And you just hope to be, I don't think I've met anyone that said to me, "Oh, you're something totally different."
Yeah, you're
That's
the real deal. Billy, thank you very much. We always end with music, so we're going to end with I Love LA because these days I think we all love LA.
And it needs love.
We love all of the love that people are giving to us right now. Billy Bush, thank you so much, and thank you so much for watching The Issue Is. We'll see you next week.
Thanks, big guy.